Have you been actively looking for a way to travel to Canada as a permanent resident? Permanent resident means you don't have to worry about work permit, applying for visas, visa expiring, having to renew it, and all of that. You get to live in Canada permanently, and you can leave and come back as you wish, no questions asked. And you get to work as much as you want, no limits whatsoever. Many people have been looking for this pathway, and Canada indeed has such pathways, especially through the express entry. But these days it's become almost impossible for people to get the required number of points to be able to get in. Canada has always had this way out of that, which is, to me, the easiest way to get a permanent resident in Canada. That is through the Home Care Worker Program. This program has been in existence for a while. It's just that it's been a pilot program, so it's not always open like the express entry where you can apply anytime you want. With this Home Care Worker Program, it's always been a pilot, sometimes running for 1 year, sometimes 2 years, and they have a specific day or they open it, and when they open, people make the applications, and once they get the number of people they want, they close it until another date in the future where they decide themselves. And when the 1 or 2 year pilot program ends, they review it and decide when next they want to restart it. So another opportunity to restart it is coming in the near future, and according to IRCC, 31st of March 2025. And with this new program, it is new because they are restarting it, and they have new additions to it. With this, you apply and you come to Canada and you get your permanent residency at the port of entry or the airport. Before, you only got a closed work permit, meaning you were only stuck with one employer. You get to stay with them, work, and after about 1 or 2 years, you get to apply for your permanent residency. But this time, you get your permanent residency right at the airport. This means you will not be stuck to one employer. One problem they used to have with the previous editions is that because people were stuck to just one employer by virtue of the fact they were only given a closed work permit, it became more like some sort of slavery, because you cannot work anywhere else. So if this employer is even maltreating you, there's nothing much you can really do about it. So after receiving a lot of criticism from other people all over the world, and especially in Canada, they decided to scrap that. And most of us actually thought they were just going to come back with an open work permit instead. But this time, they came with something even better. That is the permanent residence. And there are some requirements for this though. They actually announced this somewhere last year, and we were all expecting them to open it somewhere in September, but it never materialized. And finally, they've given a date, that is the 31st of March 2025. But they have still not really given us all the details yet. And they have already given us 4 eligibility requirements, but no one knows whether they are going to add to it or that is going to be all. But IRCC says they are going to give us further details before the 31st of March opening date. These 4 requirements are: number 1, you need to have a minimum of CLB 4 language proficiency exam. So the CLB is the Canadian language benchmark, and you can write any other acceptable English proficiency exam, including IELTS. But mind you, if you're writing IELTS, you should go for general, not academic. General is for immigration purposes. Academic is for school scholarships, blah blah blah. So if you write the IELTS, whatever score you get, it can be converted into CLB score. Then you get to know whether you have the minimum requirement or not. And a CLB level 4 equivalency in IELTS is quite low and doable. I will post the conversion chart on this video so you will be able to see it. And one more thing too is you need to have at least high school certificate. It's not like express entry where you need to have your master's or you need to actually have a higher educational attainment or qualification. With this program, you only need to have at least a high school diploma. And you also need to have relevant work experience. As of now, they have not made us know whether they want a 1 year or 2 years or how many years work experience. But as I said, they are going to come with more details in the coming weeks. And the last requirement for now is that you must receive a full-time job offer from Canada. I mean, if you are applying to work in Canada, of course you definitely need to have an employer already, so that once you come, you know where you're going, who you're going to work with. Unlike express entry where that doesn't matter. So that's one of the things with this particular program. So if you are ready for this program, the first thing you need to do is you need to write your IELTS. Without that, you do not qualify. And after your IELTS, you need to start applying for jobs as soon as possible. One way of getting a full-time job in Canada, as I've always mentioned, is through jobbank.gc.ca. But in this particular instance, you need to get a home care job, not any other job, a home care job. The background of this whole program is that Canada has an aging population. We have a lot of people who are very old, and as a result, Canada needs people to take care of these aged people. And also, we have a lot of people who are now more like in their productive stage, having children, and as we all know, childcare is expensive in Canada. And as a result, we need people not just coming to care for the aged, but also the babies, the kids, the toddlers. So a full-time job in this category is going to be more like you are just coming to help some parents care for their children or child, however number that they have, or you're just coming to help them care for their parents or grandparents. That is all this is about. And as I mentioned earlier, you need to have relevant work experience before you can apply for this program. And mind you, when I say this is the easiest, I'm not saying this program is easy to get in. It is still difficult to get a full-time job offer in Canada, and that is probably going to be the most difficult hurdle you'd have to cross before you'd be able to get into this program.